here we are. I'm Joseph Kleider for AscensionPathway.com on the Evan Fain YouTube channel. Bringing you another version of grid work. I'm so disgusted with what's going on. I'm thinking about taking today out, but I wanted to get a baseline. Today is, I don't even know what day it is, Saturday, December 12th, 2015, 12/12. And the geoengineers were out all night spraying. Heard them first thing this morning. They're real low. Look how low they got this. Actually, they made it sprinkle a little bit. It's raining. You can see on the truck. Got some wind, some rain there. Fake rain, because we know what it is. You can see the rail over here where the guy sprayed through there. Let me see if I can get it in a little bit better. You may not be able to make it out. There it is, right there. But that's just one of many that put together this gray, hazy soot. You can see how low this is. God, it's only a couple thousand feet. It's right on top of us. And they just kind of spray even lower. These jets are sprayed lower and lower and lower as they lower their altitude to spray us. Basically exterminating us. Well, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The spraying has subsided somewhat. They've let the soot fall to the ground. They've still got cloudoids hanging up in there from the massive destructive spraying they did over the last couple of days, which we showed you. I'm not going to document a lot today. There's not really much to show you unless you want to look at some dark, notorious black plume cloudoids that are still left over. And I was hoping to catch somebody out here spraying. Thought they might keep it up, but look up here, you can see the white soot falling from the sky. But anyway, I'm going to show you a video that you might like. It's very educational. Take a look at it.
Do you want to give people an overview of geoengineering? For the new people who are listening, we've got a tremendous number of new people who have joined our group in the last few weeks. What is geoengineering all about for the new people a lot of new people who want to know what this is and why it's happening? Can you give us an introduction?
Yeah, again, the term geoengineering, aka chemtrails, the layman's term for what we see happening in the skies, but this is weather modification on a global scale. In fact, these programs are so large and so all-encompassing that all other weather modification programs that go on a smaller regional basis are virtually, they're negated by the scope and scale of the global geoengineering programs. And these programs involve a number of aspects. You have the saturation of the atmosphere with various chemical and metal particulates. And there appear to be various purposes and objectives with this saturation. In conjunction with the saturation, which ionizes the atmosphere, makes the atmosphere more conductive, we have the HAARP facilities, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. These are ionosphere heaters. Many have heard of the HAARP facilities. There's not just one or two or three. We believe there's at least 18 around the globe, possibly with 3 more being built in Antarctica right now. And once the atmosphere is saturated with these particulates, and then you add the ionosphere heaters, the entire weather system globally is virtually being thwarted. There is no natural weather at this point, and we really don't know what sort of climate conditions we would have necessarily if these programs were brought to a halt, and they desperately need to be brought to a halt, because the saturation of the atmosphere is thwarting the hydrological cycle. It's totally disrupting the rain cycle. Again, we have the artificially nucleated snowstorms, which I just mentioned. You can't go from 100 degrees to snow in one day without a whole lot of help. This includes jet stream manipulation with the HAARP facilities, and we are not guessing at this. We have monitoring sources for this signal, and we can see where the signal is most intense, and that's what steers the jet stream. So then you add artificial ice nucleation, which is a chemical nucleation process. They can turn what should have been rain into snow and drop the temperatures of these storm systems by this artificial chemical nucleation. This isn't sci-fi, this is hard science fact. The weather disseminating agencies are trying desperately, their task, and they're all owned at the very top, it appears, by the Rothschilds and or other parts of the global elite complex. Rothschilds in particular ownership of Weather Channel, Weather Central, Weather Underground. And it was imperative that they own these agencies, otherwise there would be great discrepancy in trying to explain away these events.
Hope you enjoyed the show. See you tomorrow.
A story is being spread claiming Edward Snowden, the NSA whistleblower, has released information about HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, the weather modification device, the mind control machine that beams radio frequency waves into the atmosphere. This story is false. It stems from a satire website, the Internet Chronicle, claiming that Edward Snowden had revealed documents about HAARP. And just a simple internet search here reveals that countless people picked up the story without doing 10 seconds worth of research on it. Snowden reveals HAARP's assassination agenda. You know, Snowden discusses HAARP chemtrails secret base, links included. You know, he just goes on and on and on. Snowden on what HAARP has in store for us. Yeah, but if you were to actually just, you know, cross-reference, fact-check, you would have realized that this same website has documents or stories claiming that Snowden has revealed a second shooter in the Zimmerman case, revealing that this is a clear satire joke website. But many people were duped and will continue to be duped by this fake no-name website that, you know, I'm sure the author just started posting the links around. You know, giving fake quotes, attributing fake quotes to Edward Snowden. Now, HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, has allegedly, according to the government, just been shut down. They said just don't worry about it anymore. They don't have the money, and they just closed the facility. Most likely just a cover story. The technology probably got so advanced that they just built a smaller version or a newer, more updated version at a different facility, at a different location. They probably have little portable HAARP ray guns now. What HAARP does, it does a variety of different things, but scientists claim that it can geoengineer, that it can cause weather weapons, cause tsunamis, cause earthquakes. The History Channel even did a story about this on a series called That's Impossible, Weather Warfare. And Jesse Ventura's show, Conspiracy Theory, also covered this. And what is also interesting is that HAARP could probably beam voices into people's heads. I covered this before. I'll cover it again in case you missed it. This is an actual patent at the United States Patent and Trademark Office, filed in 1996 by the United States Air Force for what is called the radio frequency hearing effect, where they can beam sounds and voices into people's heads from extremely long distances, and they demodulate in the inner ear so that the people targeted, the listeners, the audience, cannot tell where the sound is coming from. So when you have a television on or when your phone rings, your stereophonic ears can sort of triangulate and hone in on the general direction of where the sound is coming from. But using the radio frequency hearing effect, sometimes called the microwave hearing effect, they can beam voices, sounds, whatever they want to, into people's heads, and just make it think that, God's talking to you. A lot of people have come forward claiming to be targeted individuals, TIs, who believe that they have been harassed and victims of, or test subjects, guinea pigs, by such a device. And the Satanist Michael Aquino, who's a former lieutenant colonel in the United States Army, wrote this paper, From PSYOP to Mind War, detailing how it was a good idea, he believed, to use a device like HAARP to beam waves into the population's brains in order to sedate or calm large numbers of people. Yeah, this is a publicly available white paper where he just says extremely low frequency waves up to 100 hertz are, they're not noticed by the unaided senses, but their resonating effect on the human body has been connected to both physiological and emotional distortion. Infrasonic sound can subliminally influence brain activity. And he says here that inclining an audience to anything from alertness to passivity, where he says it can endure for great distances. It could be used in conjunction with media broadcasts as well. Oh, that's great. Oh, they would never do that, right? They would never plan that. Oh, here's a Washington Post article from 1999 where it was uncovered that the government had planned to make God appear in Baghdad and then use this technology to make it appear as if God was talking to the population, urging them to overthrow Saddam Hussein in Baghdad in the 1990s. They planned on doing this in Cuba as well to try to convince the Cubans to overthrow Fidel Castro. And this same technology could very well be used to fake the return of the Christ, the appearance of the Antichrist, just to talk to everybody, make it think that God's talking to them and announcing that Jesus has returned. Go ahead and worship Barack Obama, worship this Bilderberg beast. It's God. And much of the people will be tricked. Much of the people just can't even fathom, can't even understand, don't even want to believe that this kind of technology exists, or that the elite would ever use it for such a thing, even though they drew up plans for a holographic projector described in a classified Air Force document to project informational power from space for deception missions. Yeah. Michael Aquino, by the way, the guy that wrote this, like I said, he's a Satanist. Hardcore Satanist, member of the Church of Satan, former member of the Church of Satan, broke away because it just wasn't satanic enough. So then he started the Temple of Set. Set's the Egyptian name for Satan. This was published in 1980, 10 years before HARP was created, so then it looks like the government just decided to build a facility to be able to do that. But this Washington Post article says that they could most likely do it from satellites or from mobile, portable technology. This kind of technology may have been used to trick Khalid Sheikh Mohammed into believing that God had appeared to him in his jail cell, because some reports claim that he was defiant up until he believed that God, Allah, appeared to him in his jail cell and then ordered him, or convinced him to cooperate with his captors. So it's not that far-fetched to believe that our friends at the Guantanamo Bay, or wherever he was being held, used this kind of technology, just from a jail cell next to him, and just beamed it into his cell and had somebody on a microphone talking as if they were God, convincing Khalid Sheikh that it was Allah talking to him. And how would he know any different? If you weren't aware of this technology and you started to hear something like that and they said that they were God, most people are going to believe that that's what it is. That's why I'm covering this story, because this very technology may be used to try to dupe the population into believing that the Illuminati counterfeit Christ is the real deal. Could very well be used in a fake alien invasion as well. I'll cover that in a different video in more detail. But just so you know, Edward Snowden, the NSA leaker, did not release any information on HARP, and the government is putting out the story that HARP is shut down, so just don't even worry about it. And a quick search on the internet reveals that a lot of people fell for the Snowden HARP story, revealing their inability to fact check, revealing their how easily they are manipulated. So that is the news for now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new.